Good evening and welcome to Left, Right and Centre. This is a special 60-minute edition on something which is a matter of deep concern, or if it is not, or if you're still choosing to watch some banal, inane conversation about Bollywood and drugs, well then, think about it. That's the sort of society you're in. And if you don't get concerned about this, then there's something seriously wrong. Enough should be enough now. The Hathras rape and death has failed India again. We asked this basic question. There were fast-track courts. There was a Nirbhaya fund. A lot is said after each and every rape. But is anything working? The purpose behind this one-hour discussion is going to be to find solutions for the future, because surely things cannot be left just the way they are. In just a short moment from now, we'll also be joined in by a union minister, and we'll be asking him questions whether his priorities are misplaced or not. Because the champion of the Dalit cause, Mr. Ramdas Athawale, union minister, was spotted at the Governor House today in the Anurag Kashyap case. But he had no time to speak about the Hathras rape victim, who happens to be a Dalit. First of all, the fact that this has happened to a woman is bad. What's worse still is that the champions of the Dalit cause, who have risen to power talking about Dalits, are nowhere to be seen. So we'll be asking them this question. We'll also be speaking to the ADG Law and Order of the UP Police. Let's quickly show you the number of people we have over the next 60 minutes on this broadcast. There you go. You will have these many people talking about solutions as we go ahead. Reforms and how do we implement it? Because from Nirbhaya to Hyderabad to Hathras, what concerns us is that perhaps nothing has changed. Let's quickly take a look at this presentation of what happened today.
Protests after the death of a 20-year-old woman from West UP's Hathras at a Delhi hospital.
प्रधानमंत्री जी का बयान क्यों नहीं आया? कंगना का छज्जा टूटता है, कंगना जी की उस घर का, तो पूरा मीडिया चला जाता है। एक दलित की बच्ची की हड्डियां टूटी हैं, उसका रेप हुआ, उसकी हत्या हुई है। क्यों आज आवाज उठ रही है? आज शोर क्यों है दिल्ली में? आज से पहले शोर क्यों नहीं था?
2 weeks after she was raped and brutalized near her village, 200 kilometers from Delhi. The scheduled caste woman was allegedly raped and murdered by these upper caste men, now under arrest. Among the injuries inflicted on the woman, the 20-year-old was dragged by her dupatta into fields from a spot where she had been cutting grass with her mother. Her bones were broken and her tongue had a deep gash, the result of attempted strangulation. The woman's family has accused the Uttar Pradesh police of not helping them, but reacting only after public outrage.
पहले हमारे जो दादा थे उनके साथ भी इन लोगों ने पहले वारदात करी थी। पुलिस ने तो फुर्ती से कार्रवाई, काफ़ी टाइम डिले हो गया था। अभी परसों तक कल पकड़ा गया, लास्ट वाला 4थे नंबर का। ये लोग गिरफ्तार नहीं होते, उससे पहले धमकी वगैरह भी दे रहे थे वहाँ पे। कह रहे थे अगर जेल तो जाएंगे और 1-2 को और मार के जाएंगे।
22 तारीख को पीड़िता के बयान लिए गए और पीड़िता के बयान के आधार पर गैंग रेप की धारा उसमें 376D उसमें बढ़ाई गई और पीड़िता ने जो पहले एक अभियुक्त था, उसके अलावा 3 और अभियुक्त के नाम बताए। 4 अभियुक्त गिरफ्तार करके जेल भेजे जा चुके हैं।
मेडिकल एग्जामिनेशन के समय कोई इस प्रकार का दुष्कर्म का तथ्य है इस पे सामने नहीं है।
A spate of heinous brutal crimes against women have been reported across the state of Uttar Pradesh in the past 45 days or so. In just August, in Kheri district near the border of Nepal, 3 murder and rape cases have been reported, 2 of them involving minors.
Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi Vadra tweeted saying Uttar Pradesh's law and order situation has been irreversibly damaged and called for strict punishment to the accused. BSP chief and former Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Mayawati called for the case to be fast-tracked. But the Uttar Pradesh government claims cases of rape between January 1 to August 30 this year were at 1,429, down from 1,987 cases reported in the corresponding period last year. Murder cases for this year were at 2,352, according to the UP government, down from 2,540 cases in the same period in 2019.
कि जिस समय वो एफआईआर दर्ज करवाने के लिए आए थे तुरंत करा गया था। जिसने भी किया है, जो दोषी हैं, उनको बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। उनको कानून के तहत कड़ी से कड़ी कार्रवाई करते हुए एक मिसाल भी रखी जाएगी।
But on the ground, the numbers do not seem to tell the whole story. Uttar Pradesh has spent less than 4 crore rupees of the total 119 crore rupees allocated to the state under the Nirbhaya Fund to support initiatives for protecting women. With Akshay Dongre in New Delhi and Adnan Khan, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
As we said, this is an extremely important and disturbing story, and this is a reflection of how we are as of this moment. But something needs to change. We cannot keep discussing this over and over again. So what needs to change, and should we lose hope? Like there were some politicians who seem to have lost hope as of this moment. Let me introduce our guest this evening. Bhim Army Chief Chandrasekhar Azad is now with us. Chandrasekhar जी, मैं आपसे सबसे पहले ये जानना चाहता हूँ, आप धरना प्रदर्शन कर रहे हैं दिल्ली में, लेकिन बहुत सारे ऐसे नेता हैं जो कि दलितों की आवाज़ उठाने के नाम पर बात ज़रूर करते हैं, लेकिन उसके बाद ये एक इवेंट बन के रह जाता है। आज होगा, कल होगा, और उसके बाद फिर अगली समस्या की ओर हम लोग चल देंगे, और फिर एक बार ऐसी स्थिति होगी जैसे 2012 में हुई, 2018 में हुई, 2019 में हुई, और अब 2020 में फिर हो रही है कि हम दोबारा वही चर्चा दोबारा कर रहे हों।
जैसे पहले हुआ है या अब से पहले क्या होता था, इस पर मैं कुछ नहीं कहना चाहता, लेकिन अब जो हो रहा है वो आप देख रहे हैं। अब ये हो रहा है कि न्याय की मांग के लिए हम लोग सुबह से यहाँ हैं, और मैं परसों भी वहाँ गया था। पहले मेरी गाड़ी रोक ली गई, मैं बस से गया, फिर मोटरसाइकिल रोक ली गई, फिर साइकिल से किस तरह से मैं पीड़िता के पास पहुंचा, ये जानने के लिए कि पीड़िता सुरक्षित है या नहीं है। तो उत्तर प्रदेश में जंगल राज है। अगर उत्तर प्रदेश में कानून व्यवस्था मुख्यमंत्री नहीं संभल रही है तो मुख्यमंत्री को इस पे और प्रदेश की जनता को इस पे सोचना चाहिए।
हमने
अब ये इवेंट नहीं बनेगा, अब इसमें न्याय होगा, और न्याय के लिए पहले भी जैसे सुप्रीम कोर्ट से हमारे खिलाफ एक फैसला आया था SC/ST एक्ट पे, तो 2 अप्रैल का भारत बंद हुआ था। ये छोटी घटना नहीं है, ये निर्भया जैसा दोबारा मामला है। 2013 के बाद आज 7 साल बाद फिर, और आज ही के दिन 29 सितंबर को खैरलांजी हुआ था 2006 में, जहां ऐसी घटना हुई थी। ये इसलिए दब जाती कि हम लोग आवाज नहीं उठा पाते थे। अब हम लोग आवाज उठा रहे हैं और न्याय लेकर रहेंगे।
मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहता हूं, आपने शायद प्रशासन की तरफ से बयान भी सुने होंगे। उनका ये कहना है कि ये बोलना कि जीभ काट दी गई और पीठ तोड़ दी गई, ये सब गलत है, ऐसा नहीं हुआ है। और उनका ये भी कहना है कि FIR में कोई विलंब नहीं हुई, कोई देरी नहीं हुई है FIR दर्ज करने में, या उचित जो धाराएं हैं उनमें FIR पंजीकृत करने में।
देखिए जिनकी बात आप कर रहे हैं प्रशासन की, वो सरकार के नौकरशाही में आते हैं, सरकार के इशारे पे करेंगे, जो तनख्वाह देते हैं उन्हें। आप ये बताइए कि फिर इसकी पुष्टि क्यों नहीं हो रही है? मेडिकल रिपोर्ट में तो है, पीड़िता बोल नहीं पा रही है। परसों में गया था, वो बोल नहीं सकती है क्योंकि उसकी जीभ कटी हुई है। उसकी गले की आपने अगर फोटो देखी हो तो उसके गले पे फंदा गिरा गया था। उसकी रीढ़ की हड्डी जो है वो फ्रैक्चर है, उसकी बाजू फ्रैक्चर है, उसकी टांग फ्रैक्चर है। दरिंदों ने तो उसको मरा हुआ मान लिया था, लेकिन वो बच गई, और अगर वो मर जाती तो इस बात का खबर भी नहीं हो पाते किसने किया। 14-15 दिन हो चुके हैं। आज एक मीडिया के चैनल पे तो मुझे दुख भी है कि उसे और कुछ नहीं मिला तो उन्होंने ये चला दिया। मैं नाम नहीं लेना चाहता कि पीड़ित अपराधी जो हैं वो वाल्मीकि समाज के थे, मैं तो जाति का नाम भी नहीं ले रहा हूं, लेकिन उन्होंने ये झूठ चला दिया। झूठ काहे को? आप तो आवाज उठा रहे हैं, NDTV के लोग, मीडिया में बहुत सारे मीडिया के लोग ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने 14 दिन में एक बार सुध भी नहीं ली। कंगना का छज्जा टूटता है तो
नहीं, वो छोड़ दीजिए, जो जिसका जैसा ईमान। मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहता हूं कि आपको क्या लगता है कि क्या ये एक ऐसी चीज है जिस पर अगर शोर नहीं मचा, इस पर बात नहीं हुई तो कुछ नहीं बदलेगा? क्योंकि कंगना के लिए तो बहुत सारे लोग खड़े हो जाते हैं, Y+ सिक्योरिटी भी हो जाती है, लेकिन जो इस देश की करोड़ों बेटियां हैं जिनके साथ ये दुष्कर्म हो रहा है, उनकी सुरक्षा कौन देगा?
जी देखिए, जो लोग सत्ता में बैठे हुए हैं, ये उनकी जिम्मेदारी। सिर्फ नारों से काम नहीं चलेगा। जब भी पहले तो ऐसी घटना ना हो तो उसके लिए हमें ठोस कदम उठाने पड़ेंगे। महिला सशक्तिकरण की बात करने से, महिला सुरक्षा की बात करने से नहीं होगा। आज बेटियां रात में निकलने से डरती हैं, बच्चियां खेतों में जाने से, गांव में जाने से डरती हैं। क्यों? ये माहौल कैसे बना? क्योंकि अपराधियों को दंड देने के बजाय उनका स्वागत किया जाता है, जैसे साक्षी महाराज का हुआ। और अगर कोई पीड़िता आवाज उठाती है तो बेल पर आकर फिर अपराधी जो है उन्नाव की तरह जो है पीड़िता को पेट्रोल डीजल छिड़क के जला देते हैं। पीड़िता की गाड़ी का जो है एक्सीडेंट हो जाता है। ये प्रमाण है कि ये ठोस कार्रवाई ना होने से और सत्ता के लोगों का संरक्षण होने से अपराधियों को,
लेकिन यूपी पुलिस के बारे में तो ये कहा जाता है कि अगर कोई अपराधी उनके नजर में आ जाए तो उसका तो एनकाउंटर हो जाता है यूपी में। हमने देखा है विकास दुबे पे किस तरीके से यूपी पुलिस के हिसाब से उन्होंने त्वरित कार्रवाई कर ली। तो फिर इन मामलों में क्या हो जाता है?
देखिए, मैं इनकाउंटर में भरोसा नहीं रखता हूं। इनकाउंटर तो न्याय की आवाज को छिपाने के लिए होता है। कोर्ट है हमारे पास, मगर मैं जानना चाहता हूं कि डॉक्टर कफील खान पर एक भाषण देने पे एनएसए लगी थी, इन चारों पे एनएसए क्यों नहीं लगी अभी तक? मुख्यमंत्री गार्जियन है उत्तर प्रदेश के, नोडल अधिकारी हैं, उनका बयान अब तक क्यों नहीं आया? उनको संवेदना भी नहीं है बच्ची के लिए कि वो संवेदना ही दे देते। क्यों नहीं अब तक उनका बयान इसलिए नहीं आया कि उनको मतलब नहीं है, अपराधी उनकी जाति के हैं, वो अपनी जाति के लोगों को बचा रहे हैं।
नहीं तो ये आप क्यों आरोप लगा रहे हैं?
पीड़िता के
आपको ऐसा क्यों लगता है कि इसमें जाति एंगल क्यों लाए?
थी? मैं इसलिए ला रहा हूं कि मुझे बताइए कि 14 दिन में भी अगर अपराधियों की गिरफ्तारी नहीं होती है, सख्त कार्रवाई नहीं होती, आप मुझे बताइए अगर 14 दिन में उसकी हालत में सुधार नहीं हो रहा था, इंप्रूवमेंट नहीं हो रहा था, उसको हायर सेंटर रेफर क्यों नहीं किया गया? मेरे जाने के बाद, मेरी मांग करने के बाद मैंने एम्स की मांग की, जहां दुनिया मैंने जानता हूं उत्तर प्रदेश में या सेंटर में अगर कोई भी मंत्री या एमएलए एमपी बीमार होता है तो एम्स जाता है। तो एम्स की जगह उसको सफदरजंग क्यों लेके आ गया? और जहां सफदरजंग के डॉक्टरों ने जिस तरह से परिवार का बदतमीजी की, परिवार के लोग कहा कि इसको किसने एडमिट करा दिया, किससे पूछ के एडमिट हुआ, बाहर निकलिए, जिस तरह से यहाँ हुआ, मैं कैसे मानूं कि यहाँ लापरवाही नहीं हुई इलाज में?
ठीक है,
अगर सरकार की मदद करने की नीयत होती, संरक्षण देने के अपराधियों को नीयत ना होती, तो 14 दिन से पहले ही जब उनकी हालत बच्ची की बिगड़ रही थी तो उसको हायर सेंटर रेफर किया जाता। क्यों नहीं किया गया?
चंद्रशेखर जी, मेरा आखिरी सवाल
ये भी जानना चाहता हूं, अगर जाति एंगल नहीं है तो आप मुझे बताएं।
मेरा आखिरी सवाल आपसे ये कि देखिए
एंगल नहीं है तो
उस
मुझे
पीड़िता को इंसाफ दिलाना बहुत जरूरी है। चंद्रशेखर,
वो हिंदू संगठन कहाँ, तमाम जो पूरे 5 साल जो है
जी चंद्रशेखर
मैं मानता हूँ, इंसाफ के लिए तो हम लोग यहाँ बैठे हैं, जान की परवाह करे बगैर।
कब तक आप उसके इंसाफ के लिए लड़ेंगे? क्योंकि अक्सर ये होता है कि लोग छोड़ देते हैं।
न्याय नहीं मिलेगा, जब तक न्याय नहीं मिलेगा।
ठीक है,
देखिए भाई, मैं छोड़ने वालों में से नहीं है,
ठीक,
और मैंने पकड़ा इसलिए कि मैं छोड़ूंगा नहीं, और जब तक न्याय नहीं मिलेगा तब तक नहीं छोड़ूंगा। मुख्यमंत्री को चुप्पी तोड़ के अपनी बात कहनी पड़ेगी, न्याय की बात करनी पड़ेगी, हमारी मांगों को सुनना पड़ेगा।
Okay, Chandrasekhar Azad, the Bhim Army chief, thank you so much for joining us right here up front on NDTV. Let me now introduce Lalita Kumaramangalam. You're the member of the BJP. I also have Juhi Singh, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Karuna Nandi, advocate in the Supreme Court. In just a short moment, we'll also be joined by a forthcoming author of a book, Why Indian Men Rape. She's done a lot of study and has some insights through the course of writing this book. Tara Kaushal is going to join us in just a short moment. But Lalita Kumaramangalam, a bulk of these questions were directed towards the state government and the central government. The manner in which there is a very carefully crafted cover-up. I think that's the basic allegation. Not just for a moment, if you were to say that Chandrasekhar Azad is about to become prominent Dalit politician, leave that aside. The family is alleging. The family is alleging.
Sanket, first let me express my deepest condolences for that poor child who was raped in an inhuman manner, and then, I mean, she died. So my condolences to her family, and I stand with them in their quest for justice. But, and I have said this for many, many years, we should not politicize rape. The UP government must be called into question. They must be asked if they have made mistakes, if there have been any lapses in the investigation. The UP government, the UP police must be held accountable. But this is not about BJP versus Congress versus Bhim Army versus Samajwadi Party, etc. Unfortunately, in this country, about 90 rapes happen every hour, and that is the most shameful thing. there are two things I want to emphasize here. One, we desperately need police reforms, very deep police reforms in this country, which include far greater recruitment, which include far greater and far more expansive and deeper training and orientation and retraining and orientation. You can't just do it once for, a couple of 12 days or 15 days and say it's all done. Secondly, also that there must be forensic labs in every district in this country. Thirdly, that we need to start teaching our children from very young that women and girls are to be respected. The sense of entitlement that the average Indian male has is really disgusting. I have worked with, women who have been victims of different types of violence for years, for 30 years. And I know how deep this rot is. I do not want to talk politics today because this is for me not about politics.
While I agree with you, Karuna Nandi is also with us. Let me go across. Let me quickly get an opinion from others. See, the point is that right now I understand we have to go beyond politics, but we should have gone beyond politics each time something as heinous as this happened.
Easily 50 years ago we should have started. We haven't, but at least let it be better late than never.
Ms. Karuna Nandi, I want to come to you now. See, one is of course the political side of the story. The other, and we've discussed this so many times over and over again, whether it was Hyderabad, it was Badaयूं, society, policing, political will, law and their implementation and the status of the existing provisions in the law, right? This is exactly where each and every such incident revolves around, doesn't it, Ms. Nandi?
Those in power, the BJP, who has been in power since 2014 and is in power at the state, cannot today come and say that let us not make it a political issue, that this is not a Dalit issue. Both of these things are, with the greatest respect, utter nonsense. Law and order is a state subject. It is something that the state government is tasked with implementation. The police reform, in fact, that is very piously being spoken of, is something that is with regard to separating political power from police power. What happens when police power is meant to be implemented by the state and there's a complete failure in this regard? What happens when Kuldeep Singh Sengar, who was a member of the ruling party, gets the kind of impunity for in an accusation for a gang rape against a Dalit girl, and where the family of the Dalit girl then suffers all sorts of deaths, all sorts of killings, and within the police station. Today, I don't think it's really possible to say that this is not a political issue. When you go and you ask for votes on the basis of caste, then you recognize that there is a particular oppression based on caste that you must remove. That it is, it's decades too late for this to be repeatedly happening. It's also really, really important, I think, to make sure that the SC/ST Act is not only implemented in letter and spirit, because why were these people let off when there were already allegations under the SC/ST Act against them? Why were they free for 14 days? Why?
Significant.
Why is the representation in the police force so low with regard to SC/STs? Why is it that when the names are taken of Dalit girls who are raped, that it is taken with an impunity that is so shocking that you would not do with upper caste women? So, you know what? Today, it is fundamental to understand that these caste atrocities are to be laid at the door somewhere responsible. And who is responsible? It is the state government. And we need to see structural change here. Not just reactions in this case because the national media has taken it up, but for the repeat atrocities against Dalits that have been happening in the state of Uttar Pradesh.
So, from what I gather, it's very clear that to say that you should not, at this moment, to say that let's not talk politics is not correct. Because we will have to talk politics, because it's the political dispensation which is at power in the state and the centre and responsible for the law and order, is the point that Karuna Nandi seems to be making. Juhi Singh, I want to come to you now. See, in Uttar Pradesh, we have seen and I'm not talking about the national, this is a national phenomenon, sadly. But in Uttar Pradesh, we have seen a Badaयूं. In Uttar Pradesh, we have seen now this incident from Hathras. It just happens in every political dispensation. Why is it narrowed down to just a political fight? The response that I see from the Samajwadi Party, the party chief, is that now we have no hope. There is no hope, he says.
Sanket, there is no caveat, as has been said by my friend from BJP, that you cannot discuss this case. A rape has happened. The girl went through brutal torture. She's died. There has been dereliction of duty, negligence on the part of the administration. So the only way to face it is to talk about it. Of course, we should talk about it. Again, it's a girl. It's from a Dalit family. Women are anyway vulnerable in all castes. And here she's also subject to certain power equations, as is very evident. These boys were anyway exercising a lot of control over the family. There were other issues. But the worst part is the way the administration behaved. 14th this happened. 21st they registered an FIR with the relevant sections. That too with a lot of pressure. Then there are a lot of contradictory opinions, whether she's been raped, whether she's not been raped. She was not in a position to give a statement. I mean, you don't expect this. And police reforms we can talk about later. The people who are giving out these statements are IS and IPS officers. They certainly do not need any reforms. They've been trained and they can easily have a look. The district is not so big. So we have a, let's say, an IS officer talking about this and SSP talking about this. So recruitment and reform can happen. Plus UP government, how committed is it to really
No, I'll tell you the reality of IPS officers is that they're wife beaters.
Yes.
Sadly, that's the reality. No?
Yeah, but yes, it is a reality, and that issue has also been flagged. So we can't really say it's also where is the chief minister? I mean, of course, you can talk about our national president's tweet. Where is the chief minister of UP? He talks so much. Can he not make a statement about this? Where is the WCD minister? She chooses to keep quiet. We have the prime minister from UP. We have various other ministers from UP, but everybody just chooses to stay quiet on this particular issue. Why? I mean, it's a very relevant question which the families are asking.
Of course it is relevant.
Yes.
This eerie silence has to be questioned, but also behind this silence and anger and outrage are some facts, Tara Kaushal. And I also have Kiruba Munuswamy. Thank you very much, Kiruba, for joining us. And I would like to ask the two of you these questions. First of all, Tara, you go first. You're the forthcoming author of a book, Why Indian Men Rape. So if I may ask you, why?
Sanket, so it's the book is released. It's called Why Men Rape, an Indian Undercover Investigation. Okay. But anyway, beyond that, why? It's definitely an intersection between patriarchy and power. And as much as we are talking about oppressions being intersectional, so she was Dalit, she was poor, she was rural. As much as we are talking about oppressions being intersectional, we also need to talk about privileges being intersectional. So the men who perpetrated this crime with this girl were upper caste, and therefore in the village scenario, they were on the right side of power. So whether it was sex or whether it was power, why they chose to do this, they clearly chose to do this because they wanted to, and that's something we can talk about, but also because they could. And that is where the intersection of power comes into play and where the government comes into play. When you have a government that is traditional, that conveniently talks about caste and other failings of the Hindu religion.
All governments do that, by the way.
Yes. So when you have a government that does not move beyond traditional systems of oppression, and all oppressions are intersectional. So you cannot say we want women empowerment while at the same time talking about caste. It doesn't work. So when we have governments that ignore women, that ignore caste issues, and in fact play up the hate and the caste issues, we will continue to have issues like this. We will continue to have it. And one of the conclusions of my book is that things are definitely going to get worse before they ever get better. And certainly if you look at the way where the impunity that people have, and the justice system is part of it, of course, lawlessness is part of it. But when you look at the way people relate to the law, people relate to women, it's all with this sense of complete entitlement, complete impunity. And we
that they
need
will
to
get away, that the system is going to help them.
That the system enables them, not only does it help them. And we're talking about systemic issues from the cultural systems. And, you know, we're talking about cultural systems that are being perpetrated and heightened by
This is very disturbing to hear. To say that this is only going to get worse and not better is very, very disturbing to hear. But that's, of course, a studied conclusion, I would say. Yeah, Kiruba is also with us. Kiruba, you know, some statistics right here, and I would like Ms. Karuna Nandi to also weigh in. Ms. Munusamy, you know, I have details, and let's quickly put those graphics also on screen of certain promises that were made and what is the reality. The promise is that there were fast-track courts. In March 2019, 581 courts are operational with over 5.9 lakh cases pending. These are not just rape-related cases, but all cases. In Uttar Pradesh, only 206 courts are operational with over 4.25 lakh cases pending. These pendency is a malaise, is a problem, a disease in our legal system. That's a different point. Now let's talk about rape. In August 2019, the government announced the setting up of 1,023 fast-track courts. Ms. Munuswamy, I'm sure you would know this, that in January 2020, only 195 out of the 1,000 odd fast-track courts have been set up for rape and POCSO. What chance do women have, Ms. Munuswamy?
Yeah, so I honestly think the government has promised for setting up more fast-track courts only to convince the outrage that it's seeing from time to time, and it's not willfully committing itself to end violence against women in the country. And if the government has willfully committed for it, it would have definitely looked for more reforms and other structural changes, which definitely is needed at the time where violence against women have been keep increasing, especially against Dalit women who are even more vulnerable. And India has been, kept listed as an unsafe country for women for a very long time. And I don't see any efforts coming out from the government. And when you talk of fast-track courts, I could clearly see that the fast-track courts are combined with other courts in many districts, which actually don't take atrocity cases or women cases on a regular basis, but club and combine with other IPC cases. So where is the dedication of fast-tracking the atrocities and other women-related violences?
Now, surely we can't blame the government for this. This is a commentary on the legal system.
No, government is... Karuna Nandi will definitely come in. But what I'm telling is, it's definitely not on the government. Yeah, it's definitely not only on the government, but also legal system as well. So when I see the rape of young women today, I don't see just a rape. It is a brutal caste-based targeted violence, and I also see a pattern of impunity which is coming from the legal system. So legal system has totally failed Dalit women. It is a clear case, but where is the government interfering in it? And where is the legal system bringing accountability in the violences against Dalit women? So I think it's a systemic failure of both the government and the judicial system, and at times I don't see that government can be separated from judicial system, because the impunity they get from is from the political power. The perpetrators are mostly from dominant caste, and they have the political support, especially of the ruling government in the concerned incidents. So how could you separate
this is the reality. What Kiruba Munuswamy is pointing out is actually the reality on the ground. Ms. Karuna Nandi wanted to come in. Yes, Ms. Nandi.
You know, the government is squarely responsible, right? Because who brings the case at the first instance? It's the police. So when there is an atrocity against a Dalit woman, and let's be clear that the state of UP has failed all women comprehensively, but it has particularly failed Dalit women. So when it comes to light that there has been some kind of attack, that, and why should we only look at rape? We should look at all the discriminations against and all the crimes that have been committed against Dalit women, right? When it comes to light, why are cases not registered under the SC/ST Act? Why are they primarily, even in the rare case that they are registered, why are they only registered under the IPC? Why is there this consistent denial when it is the law that recognizes that if you knew or should have known that the person that you are attacking is Dalit, then the SC/ST Act necessarily comes in. So this debate that is being had on some channels, is there a caste angle, is there not? You know what? You don't get to debate it many decades after the law. It's been debated in Parliament, and Parliament has said that, look, if the woman that you are attacking is Dalit and if you are upper caste, then there is an SC/ST Act angle, that it is a caste rape. It is not a non-caste rape. It is a caste rape, and therefore the matter has to be registered under the SC/ST Act. Now, it's possible in some cases that might not be true. That might be proven at trial. That's a different issue. At the first instance, it has to happen. That is the law. So the fact that consistently the law is basically tossed out and completely ignored, and the kind of...
And that's where the government is responsible. So you again, what Ms. Nandi has done is she's brought the focus back to the government. Every time a Lalitha Kumaramangalam says that, let's not do politics, let's not talk about, political accountability, she's brought the focus back on you, Ms. Kumaramangalam. Very quickly, last word.
Yeah. I did not say that there shouldn't be political accountability, Sanket. The unfortunate truth when it comes to violence against women is that cases are not registered. Regardless of what party is in power, this has been going on for too long. I said this in the beginning and I'm saying it today. If there have been lapses, the UP government,
but then when you say that there should be judicial reforms, there should be police reforms, you're basically telling this to yourself, Ms. Kumaramangalam.
Yes, but I'm not, no single individual can do this alone. This has to be done together, which is where I say that we need to drop our political differences.
Okay.
This is not, yes, there is a
government in power that
cannot be. Ma'am, please let me finish. I never interrupted you. Please. I have a great deal of respect for you, but let me finish. Otherwise, you talk. I will talk after you finish. I'm not going to interrupt.
Please complete. Please complete. Let's listen.
Thank you. Yeah. So I'm saying that there has to be changes, not only in the police system and the judicial system, etc., but there are very vast and very deep changes that are necessary. Every government has to be held responsible for any crime against women. And yes, I agree that caste-based violence, we must deal with it. In fact, I agree with what Karuna Nandi says, that this particular case should not be just registered under the rape law. It must be registered under the SC/ST Atrocities Act, which is probably much stronger and will move much quicker in the courts.
Yeah, but then see, the problem is that there are accusations by the family itself that, let alone SC/ST Act, even a rape case, registering of the rape case also took them a lot of time. Of course, the UP government defends...
It takes time every time, Sanket, which is why I'm saying that the system is so rotten.
The UP government...
I'm not saying politically accountability should not be there.
But people are going to question the government, and that question is valid because the law and order is a state subject. Lalitha Kumaramangalam, Juhi Singh, Karuna Nandi, Tara Kaushal, as well as Kiruba Munuswamy. Thank you so much for joining us.